Mayor Nora Radest, and I'm here today to talk to you about the energy audit that was performed in my home by Ciel Power. The City of Summit has contracted with Ciel Power to perform energy audits for anyone interested and who lives in Summit. It only costs $49, and they come and do a top-to-bottom energy audit of your home. About a week ago, the folks from Ciel Power were here, and they did just that. They went all over my house from the attic to the basement, and they did a great job. So today, Natalie Tachi, who is the representative from Ciel Power, is here with me to go over the report to see what I can do to improve the efficiency, the energy efficiency of my home. Here we go. I'm standing here with Natalie Tassi, who works with Ciel Power, and she is the company representative, and I'm here. She's going to be with me while I do a home energy audit. I'd like to ask Natalie a couple questions. First of all, tell me, please, can you describe the home energy audit?
Sure. The home energy audit process takes about 2 to 3 hours. One of our technicians will come to your house and spend that time with you explaining pretty much everything we're going to do, which includes a blower door test where we do pressurize the home and find out where all your air leaks are coming from. He'll check all your insulation levels, make sure that you have insulation, and if not, then we'll come up with different recommendations for you. We do health and safety checks on your heating equipment. We look at all your equipment, heating, cooling, and hot water systems to make sure they're working properly. And we just pretty much come up with different solutions for you to make your home more energy efficient.
So this audit cost me $49. It's a program that the City of Summit has entered into with Ciel Power, and people in the community can get home energy audits for $49 from now until the end of 2017. After this is done, you'll come back in about a week, I think, right? And then we'll sit down and talk about what I can do to improve the house. Now, tell me, I know that can cost me money, but I understand there's some significant savings available as well.
Yes, so this is a state-funded program, so there are great incentives available for homeowners. You can get up to $4,000 in cashback rebates. You can get up to $15,000 in either 0% financing or low-interest financing to help with the work. It's a really great program, and there's also now available tax credits for up to $500 until the end of the year as well. So.
Okay, so let's bring in John, who is the gentleman who's going to be doing this work today. Okay, John, how are you?
How are you?
Good. Can you talk to us about what exactly we're going to be doing today, or you're going to be doing today?
Okay. So when I get to the house, what I like to do is sit down with the homeowner and talk to them about my process. What I like to do is separate my process into a 3-step thing. First thing I like to do is get to know the house. So I'll be looking around the house from the outside, from the inside, from the basement all the way up to the attic. Next thing I like to do is do a health and safety testing. So what I want to do is, before we start insulating a house or proposing to insulate a house, is making sure that house is running safely and is going to be a good candidate for us. Afterwards, the last thing I'll do is running a building leakage test. This will help us address any key concerns in the house and make the home a lot more comfortable for the homeowner. So right now I'm setting up the blower door. What this will do is allow us to depressurize the house. This will allow us to actually find most of the drafts in the house. One of the very unique things about this setup is it will actually give us a flow rate for the house. So at the end of this, the fan will give us a flow rate telling us how much air is passing through this house. Based on the size of the house, every house has a desirable flow rate. We can then compare the number where we are today compared to where we should be on this in this size house, and we can actually tell the customer just how leaky the house actually is.
Okay, Laura and I are down here with John in my furnace room, and he's going to tell us what he's going to be testing with the furnace and the hot water heater.
Hi. So when we get down here to the boiler room, the 3 major things we want to always check for, first off being spillage, we want to see, does these exhaust fumes come back inside this living space? Second thing we want to test for is the draft of this flue. We want to make sure, is this pressure strong enough to carry all this exhaust air into our chimney and safely out of our house? Thirdly and lastly, the thing we want to check for is our carbon monoxide. We want to make sure that the levels are safe and within our limits.
Terrific. I'm really hoping that we don't have carbon monoxide in here. So let's go. Why don't you start your process?
Once the thermometer is on, we're going to set up a baseline. We're going to do a baseline to ensure we have the most accurate reading inside the house, because we know pressure can actually go up and down quite a bit as the wind blows outside. So we're going to let this sit and let this do its thing for about 30 seconds.
Do you ever, when you're doing this, do you ever walk into a house and sort of tell right away if there's going to be a lot of problems, or you think it looks like a tight house?
There's a lot of telltale signs that I can see that a house is going to give me issues when it comes to doing this combustion testing.
I'm afraid to ask.
Some things that I look for is a big range fan inside the kitchen. These things are usually vastly oversized for the house. The next thing I want to look for is down here is how is the pitch on these pipes. There should be at least an inch of rise for every foot it has to travel. So very horizontal fluids always give us issues.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Thank you. All right. So our manometer is just about ready. Our baseline now is negative 3.0. Now that we enter this in, we can actually start putting the house in what we refer to as worst case scenario. So right now we're going to go walking through the house and actually turn on every exhaust fan that we have and close every negative door that we have.
John is doing the test to see if there's any carbon monoxide coming out of our hot water heater. And we just finished, and how's it look?
All right, right now we have about 12 parts per million coming out of this hot water heater. Our limits say we want to keep this number under 25, so we're looking very good.
That's great. I'm excited. All right, now you'll do the same thing for the furnace?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, we'll see.
That's
And
good news.
It is good news. I think you need to do this at your house, too.
I think I do. It actually is a lot less daunting than I thought. I'm the kind of person who would hear about this and think that's a great idea, but I'm not really going to do it. But it's pretty easy and it's really informative.
It is. We've been following John around all afternoon, and it's really interesting. And you are quite the professional, John.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, now we're in another corner of my basement, and looking at a crawl space which has some air conditioning ducts in it. And so, John, what are we doing now?
So I'm going to go now. I'm actually going to crawl inside your crawl space and inspect it for insulation. My first opinion is I feel a lot of cold air coming from in here, so I know this is going to be a definitely good area for discomfort. So let's get in here.
Yeah. So we need to put some insulation in my crawl space, apparently. So we'll find out. I'll be getting a report in about a week, and we can talk about it then and find out what it is I need to do. I'm sure there'll be lots of recommendations. This house was built in 1930, and it structurally needs some modifications, apparently. Oh, I think she's here. Hi, Natalie. Come on in. Nice to see you again. So that's great. I'm looking forward to the report.
I'm looking forward to going over it with you.
Okay, shall we get started? Sure. Let's get on this one.
So this is your audit report. Before, I usually get started, I like to always ask somebody why did they want to get a home energy on their home? Do you have any cold spots in your home? Did you feel any certain drafts or have high bills?
I wouldn't say that we had drafts. There's one room that we discussed, the porch room, that used to be a porch, is cooler than the other rooms in the house. But because the house was built in 1930, it is absolutely clear to me that it's not as energy efficient as it could be. So that's the reason.
Okay, perfect. So at least they get your goals in mind. Okay, so this is your report for you to keep. This is what we're going to go over today. So these are the goals of the program. We're here to make sure that every home is safe, comfortable, and energy efficient. And if it's not and you choose to work with us, we won't leave your home until it is. This is the overview of what we'll discuss today. We spoke a little bit about your goals. I'll go over who we are as a company. I'll go over the state program, building science, your airflow rates in your home, your insulation levels of your home, your mechanical equipment. If there was any concerns noted by the auditor, they'll be listed towards the end of the report.
Okay.
And then the solutions and recommendations from the state.
Okay.
I always like to reiterate that the solutions do come from the state. It's a state mandated software that we have to use.
Okay.
So it's not a software we bought off the shelves to sell people insulation or mechanical equipment. It really does come from the state.
Okay.
This is just a little bit about us. Ciel Power, we are a participating contractor with the New Jersey Home Performance with Energy Star program. We're also an accredited contractor with the Building Performance Institute. You have to be affiliated with both of these governing bodies to even participate in the program.
Okay.
With that said, the Building Performance Institute, they're the ones that set the standards for our program. So when you see us proposing a certain level of insulation somewhere, it's because we have to meet their standards.
Okay.
They also flag our work, one out of maybe every 10 projects, to really come and inspect the work that we do also. Good. We're also endorsed by different communities throughout the state, which we're really proud of. Summit is our newest one, which we're very excited for. But we're the official home energy audit provider for Princeton, Woodbridge, Highland Park, Glen Rock, Milburn and Watchung, and now our newest one is Summit. So we're very excited, and we also have an A rating in the Better Business Bureau.
Great.
So this is just a little bit about us. Do you have any questions for me
Nope.
so far? Okay. So this is all about the state program. It's all about your total energy savings.
Okay.
So the higher you're able to save on your utility consumption, the more the state's willing to give you in form of incentives.
Right.
Not every home qualifies. So if you're below a 5% savings, you unfortunately wouldn't qualify for anything. But if you're between 5 to 19.9%, you qualify for a $2,000 cashback rebate and up to $5,000 in completely 0% financing over a 7-year period. If you're between 20 to 24.9%, you'd get a $3,000 cashback rebate. Then you get a choice between 2 different loans. You can either get a 0% interest loan up to $10,000 or a low interest loan of 4.9% for $15,000.
Okay.
And then the highest tier is over 25% savings. That's when you'd qualify for a $4,000 cashback rebate and the same choice of the 2 loans, the 15 or the 10.
Got it.
This is all to make your home more comfortable, make you more energy efficient, lower your utility bills. So the different eligible measures include insulation, swapping out mechanical equipment, oil to gas conversions, crawl space encapsulations, swapping out water systems like a hot water heater,
Right.
different things like that.
Okay.
So
And
that's
that'll depend on how old your furnace is and your hot water heater. Okay.
So the older the home, usually the better with the savings,
Right,
because there's
right.
a lot more work to be done.
Yeah.
So this is just a quick outline, just so you get a better understanding of what you qualify for. Towards the end of the report, you'll find exactly what incentives are available for you.
Okay, great.
Okay. So this page is all about your air leakage and how leaky is your house. So we obviously can't take pictures of air. So we take pictures of different areas of your home, and we use the infrared camera to show you the cold spots and the leaky drafts within your home. So this is a picture of your attic hatch. The darker areas show you where the cold is really coming from. So you can tell that this isn't insulated properly and probably needs to be weather stripped. So when you close it, you want that really nice tight seal. You want to separate your attic from your living space.
Right.
Also here you can see the dark areas around your exterior door shows to us that you need it probably to be weather stripped, probably put a door sweep on the bottom of it. Same thing. You want a tight seal when you close the door.
Right.
So these are just some shots just to show you where you could benefit from air sealing.
Okay.
Okay? And moving forward, you're going to see a sliding scale pretty much showing you where you should be and then where you would be or
Got it.
where you are. Okay?
So my air leakage is about greater than twice the recommended level.
Yes.
Okay. So we have some work to do there.
Yeah, so air sealing would definitely benefit you.
Okay.
Okay, so this is just a little bit about our insulation. We use a cellulose product. It's a post-consumer recycled paper product. Fiberglass is what's in most homes.
Right.
And we chose to use more of a sustainable product. In doing so, we chose cellulose. And the borate's a great fire retardant and stops mold growth, and you won't have insects or critters living and burrowing in it like you would in fiberglass either. So right now, fiberglass isn't an air barrier, it's an air filter. So when it's in your exterior wall cavities, you could have a convective loop of air continuously circulating within your cavities.
Right.
We dense pack cellulose to stop that convective loop and to keep your thermal boundary intact for longer. Fiberglass sags and degrades over time. You won't have that with cellulose.
And it's a better insulator?
Yes,
than
it's
fiberglass?
better and it's greener. So no formaldehydes, no toxic chemicals,
Right.
nothing like that. So moving forward, you're going to see an R value attached to your insulation. So
Okay.
what that means is the higher the R value, the better insulating properties that material has.
Okay.
So we have to reach BPI's R value. When it comes to your attic, you have about 4 to 6 inches of blown fiberglass up there, bringing you to an R12. BPI recommends attic flats to be at an R50. So you have a large gap.
Right.
This is pretty much showing you where you should be and where you are. You're in the red zone.
Right. I'm not surprised.
So we would address that by blowing loose fill cellulose on top and getting you to the necessary R value.
Okay.
This is your attic slope. So since it's an enclosed cavity, we're estimating that you have about an R18 worth of insulation up there, about 6 inches of fiberglass. BPI recommends an R38. So given the age of your home, your blower door test, the infrared pictures, that's how we determine your R value in enclosed cavities.
Okay.
So you have a little room to
Improve there.
improve there as
And how
well.
do they put the insulation in there?
So for enclosed spaces, we do dense pack cellulose. So it's a 3-inch hole. We drill in between all your joists. So it's about 16 inches. We dense pack. So it's a tube insertion all the way to the top of the cavity. We dense pack until we get back to the initial hole. Take the tube out, do the same thing towards the end of the cavity, and then we patch it and leave it paint ready if it's inside the house.
Got it. Okay.
All right. This is your rim joist. Okay, so your rim joist is where your foundation and sill of your house meet.
Okay.
That's where the cold air is pulled during the winter months through your house. So it's pulled through your rim joist, the cold air runs up your exterior walls and out your attic. It's a convective loop that is continuous. We want to slow that process down.
Right.
So you have nothing here, which is normal. No one ever knows to put insulation there. It's an unknown area of the house for many. But you're at an R0. BPI recommends an R13. We would put 2 inches of high density foam wherever this is exposed in your basement to seal up and air seal properly.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. This is your crawl space.
Yes, I remember that.
Where John
Yes.
squiggled his little way, so right there. So you have no insulation on your crawl space walls.
It's just be insulation between the bottom of the top of the crawl space and the floor.
That's
floor.
what you have right now.
Right.
But what we suggest and what BPI suggests is that you put insulation on your crawl space walls. You also seal up around the sill of your crawl space, and that way this temperature won't be as cold.
Right.
So this room that we're over it right now will not be as cold. Right now you have fiberglass, which like I said earlier is not an air barrier, it's an air filter. So when this room gets cold, the cold air is able to just transfer right up into this room. By doing the work we spoke about, you won't have that issue.
And what kind of insulation do you put there?
Oh, right up against the wall, we use a foam board. So it's 2 inches of foam board. We stick it right to the wall, and then we have the spray foam, like I said, around the perimeter.
Okay.
So that's your rim joist of your crawl space.
Right.
Then these are your exterior walls. Like I said, it's an estimated value that you're at an R6, so about 2 to 3 inches of fiberglass in your existing walls. These are the infrared pictures showing you see the really dark areas right
Yes,
here?
yes.
That shows that you have very cold areas in your cavity, meaning
Right.
that the insulation is sagging and the fiberglass really isn't doing its proper job anymore.
Okay.
So we would recommend to dense pack your exterior walls, same way as we discussed doing your attic slopes. A 3-inch hole every 16 inches, dense packed properly, then you will never have sagging and your thermal.
So you would do it in
envelope.
these walls, every
In the
16
walls.
inches in this wall here.
If, you know, with siding, with houses that have siding on it, we take one piece of siding off around the perimeter of the home and drill the 3-inch holes. We then dense pack, plug the siding, plug the hole back up, wood plug, seal it, put your siding back on, and you'd never know we were there.
Right, but with this, we have to do it from the
We
inside.
would do it from the inside.
Okay.
Same process, but we leave your house paint ready. So
Right.
we won't repaint the house,
No, I
but
understand.
we will
Right.
leave it ready to go.
Okay.
So you should be at an R13, you're at an R6.
Okay.
Your garage ceiling, about 4 to 6 inches of fiberglass, bringing you to an R12. BPI recommends an R19.
Okay.
So same process, dense packing the cavity. Because if this room ever experiences any cold, you know, times during the winter, that
Right.
would really help.
Okay.
Because your garage to us is outside space, so we want to cut it out of your thermal boundary.
Right.
All right. This is your water heater. So it's an atmospheric water heater. Its efficiency level is about a 54. BPI recommends a 62. And I say this for all equipment. This is just a minimum requirement if this system failed our tests. We would have to put in at least a 62%. As of right now, it did not fail any of our tests. You are able to keep your water heater. We want you to keep your equipment for
Right.
its life cycle.
It's a fairly new one. I think it's only 4 or 5 years old.
Yes.
Right.
So if that's why, you know, this is a minimum requirement. If the state's going to pay for it, they
Yeah.
want you to have the
Understand.
best of the best.
Fair enough.
All right, same thing with your boiler. Its efficiency level 79%. BPI recommends 82, but it's working. And by doing all this other work and creating that proper thermal boundary, you're going to prolong the life of your equipment.
Good.
Because it's not straining to try and heat and cool the house anymore. So that's the goal. Also, your air conditioner, you have about a SEER level of 10, which is its efficiency rating. BPI recommends a 14.5. Same concept. We would tell you to keep it. It's still working.
Right, that's the one for this area here.
And then you have the second one, which is a little bit more efficient, which is the SEER 12. BPI recommend a 14.5, same thing, but they're both working. We would tell you to keep your units. So all your equipment is good and it passed our tests.
Okay.
So there's no concerns for your house, which is good. All
Yeah.
your mechanical equipment passed our test.
That's good to know.
So we move on to solutions and recommendations, option A. So we broke it down in 2 different sorts. So what the state's proposing is that we air seal your home. It's actually mandated by the state that we air seal every single home.
Okay.
What that includes is we lift up all your insulation in your attic and we seal up all your wall tops. So it's pretty much where your wall and your attic floor meet.
Right.
Will never be flush. And so there's always a crevice or a crack that's contributing to airflow because you have the stack effect happening in your house where hot air rises
Yep.
and the cold air is pulled from the basement. So we're trying to slow down that process. So by sealing up your entire attic floor, plumbing penetrations, electrical penetrations, that helps. We also seal around windows and door frames, weather strip exterior doors properly, spot penetrations throughout the entire home we seal, and also we make sure everything's vented properly. Dryer fans, bathroom vents, that's what air sealing includes.
Now, when you say weather stripping or windows, is it outside the window? Inside?
Nope, we would be sealing up around your window frame.
Okay.
Actually,
So it wouldn't be visible.
No, it wouldn't
Okay.
be. It's a translucent caulk, so it goes on white so we can see,
Right.
but then it dries clear.
Okay.
We just weather strip your exterior doors
Got
if
it.
they're cracked or damaged
Got it.
and need
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Okay. And the reason why we do it around the windows is a 1/16 inch crack, a really small crack around your window frame, can act like that one window is open 1/2 inch. That's how much airflow you can contribute just from that. So that's why sealing up around all your windows throughout your house really benefits you. So the solutions and recommendations from the state include air sealing your home, your attic insulation. We'd be sealing and insulating your attic stair cover,
Right.
your rim joists around the perimeter of the home, 2
Yep.
inches of high density foam, your crawl space encapsulation as well, insulation on the walls and around the sill of the crawl space. Your exterior walls would be insulated, and your garage ceiling would also be insulated.
Right.
Everything would be with dense packed cellulose in the enclosed cavities, and this would bring you to a 32% savings on your utility bills.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and you qualify
And
for...
I'm not even changing furnace and air
No.
conditioning and things.
We want you to keep it and
Okay.
prolong the life of them. So you would qualify for the $4,000 cashback rebate and the 2 loan options. So either the $10,000 0% interest loan or the low interest loan for $15,000.
This is really interesting.
Yeah, I'm
So,
glad you participated.
My husband was very happy that we're not losing the furnace. He likes our furnace.
Yes, we're keeping all your equipment. And
Good.
we want you to.
Okay, so what I need to do then is to really look carefully at this,
Yes.
at the project costs,
Yes.
and the details. Talk with my husband about it and think about it.
Yep, there's no pressure ever in moving forward. This is just to show homeowners what they can qualify for and what work they could do to make their home more efficient.
Right. And then timing. We actually are finally putting on a new roof for our house.
Oh, nice.
It's the original 1930 wood shingled roof. And it's, according to our roofer, it's one of the oldest roofs in the area.
Wow, really?
So it doesn't owe us a dime at this point, and so we have to do that, probably do that, and I think it would make sense to do that first before we would do any kind of attic insulation.
Yeah, I would agree with that too.
So we could arrange this.
Oh yeah,
We'll talk about the
absolutely.
timing and-
We could always talk to contractors if you're doing other work, and we will time it out properly.
Okay, well that sounds good. Well, this has been really, really interesting, and I'm hopeful that we'll go through with this project.
I am too.
I have to say that this has been a much more interesting and easy process than I had really thought it was going to be. I was a little concerned it might be a little invasive, having people crawl all over my house, but it was really great. And the Ciel Power folks, Scott and you and John, who was here doing he was the auditor doing the actual work, were terrific. So I'm really excited, and I'm happy that you were able to work with us and allow
too.
us to film this so we could share this with the community.
Me too.
So from my house, see you around town.